Hi guys. Hi guys. I don't know how to start. Hello. So, it's a bit more normal. Anyone would think I'd set this up with the cat in the background, wouldn't they? But she's literally just chilling. She just wants her moment. So, after the video that I last did, where I was feeling quite good actually, and I felt like I had a handle on things, I feel like I had quite an unmotivated week where I just didn't care. I was really missing human interaction. I didn't want to exercise, I wanted to eat. Yeah, I just wasn't as sort of gung-ho as I had been. For a couple of days I beat myself up about that, and then like today for instance I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna eat what I want to eat, and I'm gonna stay in bed for a really long time, and I'm gonna watch the Tiger King, and I'm gonna walk over to my mum's and drop her off an Easter egg. That was my only goal for the day, and I've loved it. I think the more you surrender to just like it is what it is, the better. And I'm like, I'm just gonna do absolutely nothing, and I'm just gonna absolutely love it. It works. That's really helped me. So I think I'm really using this time obviously because I did just go through a breakup. It's really difficult to find yourself suddenly alone, because I was in a really good place, like within like a month of him leaving, which also said a lot to me about, you know, that because I was very much in love with that person, and we were good, like things were great, like we had such a laugh, we had such a brilliant time. So it still feels really unfounded, and I don't know, because I haven't had proper closure, so I don't know what any of it was about. But I was so focused on the love and forever and what we promised each other because we were engaged, that I didn't actually notice I had lost a lot of myself. And I was happy in the relationship, but to be happy in the relationship, I wasn't who I used to be. I don't know, it's a whole other story, and I'd be mindful about what I say. But ultimately, something that I've really learned that I'm sort of mulling over is like, there were a lot of things I excused in that relationship, a lot of behaviour that I wouldn't have put up with. If you ask my other exes, they'd be like, what? I wouldn't accept that. But because from the beginning we were very much like, this has to be forever, like because of the circumstances, that we always spoke about long haul from the off, and we'd always spoken about marriage, and we'd always spoken about kids, and we moved in together quite early. So there were a lot of things that I was like, God, this isn't okay, and it's not making me happy, but we're forever, so this is just a bad patch in forever. And I don't think I would love like that again, because obviously whoever I get with, I will love them completely wholeheartedly in the hope it's forever, but I will only love as long as it feels good. You know, it will have to be about what feels good now, and if it doesn't feel good and that behaviour doesn't feel acceptable, I don't think I can hang on again hoping that I don't think I can hang on again hoping that they'll change, or that they mean what they've said and whatever, because ultimately if somebody knows that their behaviour hurts you and they keep doing it, that isn't love. So why should you tolerate it? And I think because we're afraid of being alone, or we don't believe we're enough, or we feel like we've invested so much we can't turn back now, we put up with this shit. But love really is quite simple. And if somebody you genuinely love is like, look, when you do these things it really hurts me, and they keep doing them, that's your message, isn't it? So why do we stay? And then we get so hung up on being like, they should have done that because they loved me and they asked me to marry them and they did it. Nah, you stayed. Like, yeah, they hurt you and that's on them and that's shitty, but why did you stay? Because that's the bit you can change, that's the bit you can fix, that's the bit you can learn from. Why did you accept that behaviour? Why did you allow somebody else to make you feel worthless and unimportant? I could sit here all day long and list 100 terrible things, but what's that going to do? What I can control and what I can learn from is why I accepted it. Yeah, so I think in the future I want to love more in the moment and less in the future, because you can't know about the future, it doesn't exist, you know. Time's a concept we only have now, so if it doesn't feel good right now, and I don't mean to be flippant, like you didn't put the bins out, I'm leaving, People are going to make mistakes, and it's how you recover. What I'm talking about is repeated behaviour where they know that it's going to hurt you and they keep doing it. That's where I'm like, don't wait for the second time, and definitely don't wait for the third time. Like, the second time is your answer. Relationships are hard work, but it's work that you should want to do. And I think I got to a stage where I felt I was doing all of the work. And I also feel like I got therapy for the first time last year. Yeah, and it really helped me, and I honestly think it should be compulsory. I think everyone should have to go, but I've read somewhere like therapy is full of people having therapy about people who need therapy. It's true. And I feel like I kept going back and having more therapy so that I could accept behaviours that actually weren't okay. I kept going to get better equipped at handling things that were really hurtful and destructive to me, while the other person doesn't go. And then I just got better at dealing with that behaviour. You know, a relationship takes two people to put the work in, and if you're the only one really putting the work in, then again, why are you staying? And I think a lot of us, particularly women, are guilty of feeling like we want to change them, or we want to support them through, you know, and you can't. I think I got really set on, you know, because I'm 33, I put a lot of pressure on my age, especially with biological clocks and everything. I easily could have slipped into that, I'm 33 and I've got to start again and nobody will love me. And I went the other way, and I thought, well, imagine if we had got married, and imagine if I'd got pregnant and then this had happened, and then I would have brought a child into this. And you know, it felt more like a lucky escape. If somebody doesn't want that with you, then my God, it's better to know now, isn't it? I mean, I'd much rather he hadn't let me buy the dress, and much rather we hadn't booked the venue and invited all of our friends and asked everyone to be involved. But part of me was sad that I've now been proposed to, all of these things that are so exciting at the time, and I very much wanted to do that once, you know, to get married once. And hopefully I will only get married once, but you know, all of those first experiences now have sort of been clouded a little bit because it was very real for me, but it turned out that it wasn't. But I just kind of think, well, it can happen. You know, it did happen for me, and it wasn't right. It wasn't the right person, but I thought it was, and I felt those feelings, and that means I can feel that again. But imagine what that will feel like with someone who actually really does want to see it through. And that's really exciting. Everyone's journey is different, and yeah, I'm 33, but I've still got a lot of shit to do. And there's this belief that you can have it all. And it's not that I don't believe it, but I don't know that I want it all. Being married and being a devoted wife, having children, having a kick-ass career, being a good friend, being a good daughter, like all those things, that's tough. Like how would you negotiate your way through that? And I think it's kind of unrealistic to think that you can. And I think the sort of people who can say that, like, oh, I have it all, well, they probably have like loads of money and a massive house and nannies, and you know, it's not that simple. And you know, looking at it now, I'm like, I absolutely want to get married and I absolutely want to have kids, but growing up I was always very much like, I want to like smash it in my career so that I can take some time out and do the family thing. And then I kind of lost that, I think, because I'd lost my confidence and I'd lost myself. And rather than looking at my relationship and being like, hang on, my relationship should make me feel like the best version of me, I was just like, well, I'll just pour everything into my relationship then. It doesn't even matter if I'm being hurt, or because that matters, and at least I'll have that. And I would say things like that, you know, whatever happens, I've got you, and I've got the girls, the little cats, and you know, so I'll be okay. And while that's lovely, and it's lovely that I felt that, sadly, I guess I've learned, like, you can never know someone. You can't. And the best we can do is just get really comfortable with ourselves, because the one person we're definitely with till we die is ourselves. And I think the more you can get comfortable with you and trust you and learn about you and be able to communicate those things as well, because that's the one thing in my relationship that I can really look back and go, well, I really gave it my all, and I really tried, and I was working on myself daily, or most days. We all have shit ones, but you know, and I gave it my best shot, and it means that I've come out of it having learned a lot about myself and a lot about how to communicate in relationships, and also a lot of red flags and things that I should have noticed that I didn't, because I hadn't started the work when I got in that relationship. I started the work for that relationship in a way because I was like, I've met the person I want to spend my life with and I want to have kids with them, and so it was mainly before I had kids I wanted to sort my issues out, because I don't want to pass that down, because I think so much about shit is inherited. I think the best thing you can ask for in a relationship is that you both do the work on yourselves for yourselves, and if you don't feel like the best version of you in your relationship, something's probably wrong. And I don't think we want to admit that, and it can be easy to run away from things in a relationship. When you're single, you have to kind of face it yourself. If you're in a relationship, so you can just focus on the relationship, where you can ask for more from the other person or demand more. By all means, let them mean the world to you, but don't let them be the world. Relationships are absolutely amazing, but you do sacrifice a lot, because relationships are compromise, and sometimes compromise feels like a loss if we're honest, but you know, you should want to do it. So I'm kind of like, I think because of my daddy issues, I put too much on love and a relationship, because I'm like, then I haven't failed. My dad didn't want me, but if I find a man who does, then I haven't failed at that. So then I think I end up in relationships with people that maybe aren't enough for me, because I don't stop and ask enough, hang on, is this what I want? Is this right for me? I decide that I like them, and then I spend the whole time hoping I'm good enough for them. And that's the wrong way around. But I think if we're honest, a lot of us do that, and it's not necessarily for the same reasons as mine are. But I do hear it a lot with my friends. You know, if a guy doesn't text back or call or go through with the date that he said he was going to, they're like, what have I done? What have I? We go straight to, I'm the problem. And it's like, no, why aren't we like, hang on, do I want to proceed with a guy who said we go on a date and didn't show up? No. But we take it as a personal insult, and then we try harder so that they love us. And I really want to stop doing that. I just want to chill out. It's not the be all and end all, and I don't need everything. I just need to feel like enough. You just need to feel like enough. And there are so many ways that we can feel fulfilled. And if we're trying to crack all of them all the time, I fear we're just going to go mad, and somewhere's always not going to be fed enough, you know. So I think I'm just going to focus on whatever I have that can make me happy at that time, and the rest will come. And if it's right, it'll fit in with whatever I'm already focused on, and if it's not right, then it won't. It will feel like a tug of war. I think a lot of the thinking that we do when we're single, we should do when we're in a relationship. We just don't, because like this Unexpected Joy of Being Single by Catherine Gray, I started it and I was like, oh, I should have read this when I was in a relationship, but I wouldn't have thought to pick it up, because I'm like, well, why do I care about that? We probably need to do the work on ourselves when we're in a relationship even more than when we're single, because when we're single we can be a bit selfish, and if we don't have to worry about someone else or compromise, we just do what we want to do. So I don't want to keep wanging on, but those are my thoughts. This is what I've learnt about being single in isolation so far and dealing with a breakup. There's no third option. That's always procrastination. Like, it's yes or no, it's go or stay, it's do or don't every time. And I don't know why we long it out. Leaving or cutting it dead hurts more short term, like in that moment, yeah, worst pain ever. Whereas fixing it feels better for the moment, but then you're just longing out smaller amounts of pain for longer. Whereas I'm now like, nah, give me the hit, because actually, there she goes again. Actually, after the first like few days of it gets better, and then you have the odd hard day and it gets better again, and every hard day, you know, you're closer and closer to healing. So in future I would rip the band-aid off rather than slowly pull the wax off the whole length of my body. Yeah, I think 9 times out of 10 we know, but we don't want to believe it. Yeah, there's also this is not going to work. Baby, of all the places in this whole big room, you know, air other people's dirty laundry, or masturbate it. I can't say that.